What's up, guys? Hope you're having a good day. It's that time of the week where we recap on last week's event, UFC Fight Night, Holland versus Brunson, to go over all our bets and take a look at our profit and losses. But to be honest with you, there's not that much to talk about from last week. We didn't have that many bets, and the ones we did have floated around break even. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk to you guys about some of the improvements and changes I'm planning to make within our community over the next few weeks and months. So this video is very heavily geared towards members of my website, MMABettingTips.com. So if you're not a member of my website, you may find this video a little bit boring. I do apologize, but if you are thinking of joining my website sometime over the next few months, this video should give you some indication of what you can expect. So many of you within my community speak to me regularly in the VIP chat room, and you probably got to know me pretty well by now. And as you know, I'm just constantly on a journey of self-improvement. I'm always trying to make things better and do things better, and my website is no different. Ultimately, I'm always looking for ways to make this website better, to give you more value for money, and just basically make the overall experience of using the community more enjoyable and easier, taking up as least amount of time and as least amount of inconvenience as possible to get the most out of the resources on this site. So, throughout the year, throughout the days and the weeks and the months, you guys regularly come to me and you say, it would be better if things were done in this way, or could you improve this, or could you change this, or could you add this to the site? And because fight research is such a time-consuming process, throughout the year, I don't get a chance to work on these kind of mini projects of improving the site. So what I do, I tend to put all your suggestions in a list, and then when we get a break in the UFC schedule, that's when I will chip away and make all these changes and improvements and add-ons to the site. So next week, we've got our first week off from UFC since January, and this is probably going to be our last week off until August, because we've only got 3 UFC events in April, but Bellator is back in April. So we've got 3 big Bellator cards to get through in April. Pitbull Sanchez, we've got the Bader Machida card, and also the Nemkov Davis card. So even though we've got one less UFC event in April, our workload is actually going to be bigger. And of course, even though we've only so far had one, I believe we've just had the one date confirmed for Bellator show in May. Now the Bellator are back up, I would imagine the Bellator are also going to be hosting, a lot of events in May, June, July, throughout the rest of the year. So our workload is about to increase dramatically, and of course, it's already pretty busy with the UFC fight research. So, we've got a very busy April, a very busy May, a very busy June. Even though the UFC haven't started announcing cards for July yet, we know that July is the busiest week of the year, or the busiest month of the year for the UFC, where they have International Fight Week, and Dana always does the 3 events in 7 days. And then we usually get a 2-week break in August. So this is a really long-winded way of me saying, if we want to make any changes or improvements to the website, I need to get them done in the next 2 weeks during this break, or nothing's going to get done until August, because we're going to be flat out with fight research up until August. So in this video, I want to kind of be talking to you guys about the stuff I've got planned, what I'm going to be working on next week, so you can start to start to maybe offer up some suggestions or give your feedback on if you think I am heading in the right direction. So let's talk about some of the simple things coming up. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is creating basically a brand new streaming interface, like brand new graphics, brand new layout. Right now, you see my face cam as it is. You see the header, the footer, the members' names down the bottom. I'm coming up with a completely new streaming interface. Now, I've currently got a company working on this design for me, and it probably will be another 6 to 8 weeks before it's finished, but we are still in the very early stages of development. So if you spend a lot of time watching Twitch streamers or other YouTube streamers, not in MMA, to be honest with you, I think most people producing MMA content kind of suck. So if there's any, content creators for, different niches that you like, and you think there's things they do really well and you'd like to see me do more of that, please let me know. And these could be things, these new streaming, interfaces, new graphics are going to allow me to like go full screen. They're going to allow me to just basically, have starting soon screens, because right now, when a stream is scheduled to start, you guys don't really know exactly when it's going to start. So I'm going to get a countdown clock, that kind of thing. And have be right back screens, custom emotes, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be coming in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And let me know, man, if you've got any ideas to shape the design or the functionality or anything you think should be really included with that. Also, a massive project for me over the next couple weeks is going to be one of the biggest changes in the history of MMABettingTips.com. It's going to be a massive shift in the way we do things, and it's going to be completely restructuring the way that I deliver content to you guys. So, obviously, 12 months ago, I created the lab, and the purpose for the lab was to try and figure out if we were doing things in the best way, because we were spending 20 to 30 hours on fight research every single week, and for the amount of work we were putting in, I didn't feel we were getting as much reward. We're absolutely crushing it on live betting, we always have, and the fight research that we put into live betting has just consistently just produced a fantastic profit. But pre-fight betting has never been anywhere near the level that live betting's been at, and that's really annoying, because obviously the max bet limits, the liquidity available on pre-fight betting is absolutely huge. So early last year, when we had a nice break in the UFC schedule due to coronavirus, I was kind of brainstorming, how do I improve the profitability of pre-fight betting and get it up to the stage of where live betting is, so we can start to make millions of dollars from betting on MMA with how high the liquidity and max bet limits are on pre-fight betting. And in reality, when I sat there, I thought, you know what? Any change that I make to the way that I place bets on pre-fights is going to be total speculation. Like, I'm not going to know if the changes I make are going to be, the right thing to do for a very long time, until over a long period of time we can measure how those changes have influenced the results, right? So I created the lab, and I thought what we could instead do was, it's kind of like when you get play money, right, on a poker site, where you could kind of experiment playing with different styles to figure out what works well, what doesn't work so well, without it actually costing you money. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had this safe environment where we could get as crazy and experimental with betting as we want, but it won't actually affect our results, it won't hurt our money. And so the lab was born, and we created all these different experiments where we bet with very different styles, with the goal being to see what worked well and what didn't work well. And then moving forward, we could do a lot more of what worked well, the type of bets that were consistently bringing us a really nice profit, and cutting out the ones that weren't. And it has been an absolutely tremendous success. Like, I had a feeling that this would go well, but I didn't have any idea that it would have gone this well. This time last year, we created 5 different experiments: the even money bets, the over-unders, the tight aggressive, loose aggressive, and main event picks. And out of the 5 experiments, 3 of the 5 are profitable. Tight aggressive, I kind of abandoned, a while back, because it wasn't too dissimilar, to be honest with you, with the official betting strategy that I use. As you can see, over the last year, there's only been 6 bets in there, so it's not really appropriate to say this was kind of like an experiment that never really got off the ground. But if we take that one out and focus on the experiments that did get off the ground, the even money bets, the over-under bets, the loose aggressive, and the main event picks, out of the 4 experiments, 3 of them are profitable. The only one that isn't is the main event picks. What's even more interesting is that the 3 that are profitable are wildly profitable. They've done extremely well. And we've now got to the point with these bets where the sample size is pretty robust. We've got a year's worth of data in there. The loose betting experiment is made up of 200 bets, and we can see that it's just a nice, steady, consistent, upwards trend. And we haven't actually updated the results for March yet. They obviously get updated at the end of every month, but we've made another profit this month, so the profitability chart would be up here somewhere. And so we're in this situation now where, we've got all these different kind of bets, but the website's reached a stage where everything feels really fragmented, because we've got our what we call official bets, which is the bets that I've been putting out long term, which make up this profitability chart here, going way back in time, right? This profitability chart. But the website is very much geared towards these official bets, and everything from the pre-fight betting side of things, it's all focused on these pre-fight bets. The website is kind of split in half, where you've got pre-fight bets and then you've got the live bets. But with the emergence of the lab over the last 12 months, obviously more and more of you within the community are putting more and more weight on these lab bets, are taking these lab bets very seriously. I'd imagine some of you taking them even more seriously than, the official bets. And so we're at a really strange crossroads right now where, these lab bets have got a really big sample size. They're doing really well. There's no reason why they shouldn't continue to do well, because ultimately they're based on our fight research, and, that's never going to change. And so many of you have been asking about moving the lab bets onto one single page. So instead of having to scroll through all these different sections of the site to see, the different lab bets for each different experiment, you can have them all on one page. But then I thought the whole way that the content is structured on the site now is being really disrupted by these lab bets, because it's kind of silly to keep calling them lab bets, right, when they've been doing the damn thing for like a year. So I thought, and let me know what you think, preferably in the chat room. I would really appreciate it if you could come onto the website, talk to me about this stuff directly in the VIP chat room, because I'm conscious that leaving comments on YouTube, I'm not really going to know, who is a part of the community, who's a paying member and who's not. And I would really like to just get opinions on this from paying members, because ultimately I'm trying to make all of this better for you. So if you could drop by the VIP chat room and let me know what you think about the idea that I'm going to share. And then if enough of you like it, I've already spoken to some of you about it earlier on, and most people seem to like it. But let me know what you think of this system. So basically, people keep asking me, put the lab bets on one page, right? That's definitely what I'm going to do. But by August, we're going to have 18 months of results for these lab bets. And so at what point do we stop these bets from being experimental? I think the best thing we could do to make the content organized in a more logical way on the site right now would be to do what many of you have been suggesting, right? I think Matern was the guy that first suggested it. If we take these official bets, right? These official bets, the ones with the longest history, and we create a brand new page just called betting tips, right? Just literally betting tips, straight up betting tips. And we basically migrate these official bets into the tight, aggressive betting strategy, which is basically what it is. When I give you guys official bets, they are very tight, because ultimately I'm making sure there's mathematical value there. I'm making sure we're getting a great risk to reward ratio, and I'm making sure we got our money in a very strong position. So the logical thing to do, since essentially the way we have been betting, over the last 7 years, is tight aggressive, that the official bets now become the tight aggressive experiment. And so a new, better way to do things, I feel, would be to create a new betting tips page, and you would have all of these experiments which have proven to be profitable over 1 year, and we move them into that betting tips page. So what you would have is you would have loose aggressive bets. You'd have the database table, which you see here. So if you go on, say you click betting tips, you'd have the database table as new bets get entered in every week. Then you would have the profitability chart underneath, and then you would have like a written description explaining to new people what this experiment is about. And then underneath you'd have even money, underneath you'd have over-unders, underneath you'd have tight aggressive, and it would all be on one page. And what we would then do is we would continue to add new experiments to the lab. So, for example, the main event picks experiment is the only one that's not profitable, right? It's done terrible. I think we're down about 10 units on it for the year. But I'm not ready to abandon this experiment yet, because I feel it's been subject to a little bit of variance, and I personally feel give this one a little bit more time and it can actually start to become profitable. I don't know for sure, but I've got a feeling we can make this one profitable. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we can basically reshape the content on the site to make it way easier to consume, way more logical to consume, and just completely revamp the way we do things, where you could have 3 different sections of the site. You could have betting tips with all the profitable types of bets on one page. You could have content relating to each event on another section, where you click into an article like we have now that relates to any upcoming UFC event, and within that page you just have tons and tons and tons of breakdown videos, right, for that upcoming article, for that upcoming event. That won't change. So you have a page with all bets on, another page with upcoming video content for the next event, and then you still have the lab. But what we do with the lab is we continually add new experiments to it to try and continually improve our profitability. And we can get to the stage where once an experiment has become profitable over a 12-month period, it then kind of graduates to the betting tips section of the site. So the betting tips section of the site will constantly grow as we get new data from the lab. And after 12 months, if the experiment isn't profitable, we could take a look at the results and say, you know, does this experiment need to go on for a little bit longer? Could this experiment become profitable over a longer period of time? Or shall we just cut it loose and replace it with something else? So we now end up in a situation where the website almost becomes like a really big resource where, you know, certain types of bets have proven themselves to be profitable over the long run, and they kind of graduate into an area of the site where we know those bets are gold and they're going to bring us a return. We're still going to have all the content, you know, the video content for upcoming events, but then the lab is going to constantly be working to find us new ways to make money from betting on MMA and ultimately extract more opportunity out of those 20 to 30 hours of fight research that we do every week. And already, big shout out to all of you within the community that have suggested new experiments that we can add to the lab. I've already got a list of about 10 experiments to replace these ones. You know, if these ones do then, you know, migrate into the betting tips section of the site, and then we add another 10 lab experiments, I'm very optimistic that many of these new experiments will be profitable. And I also want to say a big shout out to all of you that have offered to help me manage the lab. Obviously, I don't have any spare time. I'm kind of redlining it and running at maximum capacity as it is. So I'm not going to be able to manage the new lab experiments myself. Obviously, I'll contribute to them in some way because, you know, I would say about half of the experiments are going to be reliant on my input based on fight research, but the other half kind of aren't. The other half can kind of be managed by anyone. And so I really want to say a big shout out to Matern, Hiltzy, Paul, Moons, Soppy, you know, anyone else or Dale, anyone else that's offered to help me with. It's kind of like the Lab 2.0, right? Where, you know, the lab was a proof of concept. You know, we proved over a decent period of time it is a success, it is working, and now Lab 2.0 is where we try and take things to the next level. So let me know what you think of of that basic new way to do things. There will be naysayers who are like, oh, you're just trying to hide old results, or you're trying to. I don't even know what negative motherfuckers will say. To be honest, I'm sure they'll come up with something. But I just think this would be a way better way of doing things, where we could kind of rearrange how content is presented on the site. It makes it quicker and easier for you to access the bets that you're looking for. It'll make it easier for you guys not to miss some of the lab bets, because I know every week in the live betting chat I see guys say, oh shit, I didn't see that bet. Say, for example, if I added it on fight day or the night before, I know a lot of you miss bets. Having everything on one page will make it a lot harder to miss stuff. And yeah, man, it means that we can just continue being experimental to try and increase profitability from the fight research as much as possible. So jump onto the website. Let me know in the VIP chat what you think of that idea, and if enough of you like it. I know I've spoken to some of you already today and you do like it, but if the consensus is that's going to be the best way to do things, then I'll spend the next 2 weeks restructuring the site to organize everything in that way. So please let me know. I would really appreciate it. Obviously, if everyone likes the way things are currently being done, I will keep it the same. However, I think there's an opportunity to make some big changes and some big improvements, and for me it just doesn't make sense to keep these bets buried in the lab when there could be a much more logical way to structure content on the site. So what else do I need to talk about? Okay, so another aspect of the update that I want to talk to you guys about is Bellator live betting. So Bellator live betting is in a bit of a precarious position at the moment, because it is possible that we're not going to be able to live bet Bellator anymore, which is obviously really, really sad. And at the moment, we're not going to get an answer on the future of Bellator live betting until the next Bellator event on Friday, April the 2nd. So right now, obviously, we've got 3 different membership tiers on the website. VIP members get access to all, pre-fight content. We've got elite members, which get access to, all pre-fight content and live bets on UFC. And we've got the Prime members who also get access to all that stuff and live betting on Bellator. The problem we've got is, generally speaking, betting sites don't like to offer live betting on sports that can only be viewed in the country of origin on streaming platforms. So the majority of the biggest betting sites in the world are located in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is a very good environment for massive betting sites, because the UK gambling market is absolutely huge, with the Premier League being a prime example. And so a lot of the data companies which provide services to the biggest betting sites in the world are also based in the UK. So the biggest online betting sites in the world, like Bet365, Ladbrokes, William Hill, you name it, most of them tend to get their live odds provided to them from businesses that specialize in live betting, and they provide live betting odds feeds to these massive betting sites through an API. Now, the problem with live betting is when a sport is only broadcast in a country through an internet stream, there is a big risk to the betting site that you can cheat, to be perfectly honest with you, either through courtsiding. If you don't know what that is, Google it, or through having access to a faster stream than they do. So live betting at the moment is great in the UK because the UFC is broadcast on TV on BT Sport, and even if someone is like slightly ahead of you on a TV broadcast, it's going to be seconds or milliseconds. It's not going to be a deal breaker for the betting site. The problem is internet streams are a lot slower than satellite broadcasts. So if a live betting API provider based in the UK is trying to set odds on a Bellator fight that they're watching on a live stream, because of content delivery networks, data transfer speeds, cable infrastructure, they don't know if customers are seeing streams before they are. Now, a way around this is, betting sites will sometimes impose a delay. So, for example, they will say, or they will account for maybe being 20 to 30 seconds behind the fastest stream, and delay odds unfolding on the action based on that. They will kind of overcompensate for latency. But generally speaking, betting sites really do not like to offer live betting on anything that can only be viewed in the country where they're based on a streaming platform. And that puts Bellator live betting at a big risk, because recently Bellator lost the broadcasting deal in the UK with Sky Sports, which means now Bellator can only be viewed in the UK via a live stream on a platform called BBC iPlayer, which is not good. It's not good. There are different arguments for this, and a lot of people will probably come into the chat room and say, oh, but what about this, I'm sure we're going to be able to live bet Bellator. And to be honest with you, no one's right, no one's wrong on this. I'm just trying to present you with all the facts, and right now we don't know if we're going to be able to continue live betting Bellator based on the information we have. For context, it was only 18 months ago that we were able to live bet Bellator in the first place, when they did that deal with Sky Sports. Before they did the deal with Sky Sports to have TV broadcasting in the UK, we couldn't live bet Bellator. So now that it's gone back to a streaming platform, there is a very good chance we're not going to be able to live bet Bellator anymore. Having said that, there are examples where betting sites have offered live betting on MMA that's only available through streaming platforms. So some of the Polish betting sites offer live betting on KSW, which can only be viewed on streaming platforms in the UK. I know that some betting sites in the UK have also in the past offered live betting on PFL and also on Dana White's Contender Series. However, there are also counter-arguments where we used to be able to live bet Cage Warriors when it was broadcast on BT Sport, and then when the fights on Cage Warriors went back to Fight Pass, betting sites stopped offering live betting on Cage Warriors. So it's really uncertain at the moment. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you are one of my Prime members, or if you're interested in becoming a Prime member to be able to live bet on Bellator, right now I won't be accepting any more Prime memberships unless you're already a Prime member and you want to renew, because I need to see what happens on Friday, April the 2nd, to see if that's a service that I can continue to offer. Bellator live betting's in a lot of danger right now, a lot of jeopardy, and we may not be able to do it any longer because they lost their broadcasting deal in the UK. Or not their broadcasting deal, their TV broadcasting deal, which is a huge shame. So, we've covered live betting Bellator, we've covered changes to the structure of the site. Let me know what you think about changes to the structure of the site. And with that, it is now time for us to go over our results from last week. So let's get into it. Let's take a look. So, in terms of official bets, I feel like we've talked a lot about official bets in this video. We didn't have any, right? We didn't have any. Wait a minute. Wrong article. Here we go. Oh, I've already got it up. Do apologize. So yeah, in terms of pre-fight bets, we didn't have any, right? We had, or official bets. See, it's so stupid. I've been saying for weeks in these videos how we need to stop calling them official bets, because it's just not logical with the way the lab is structured. And finally, if we move these official bets into that tight aggressive category, finally we're going to be able to stop talking about these bets in that context, which I for sure am really going to look forward to, because it's really annoying to keep saying official bets when we talk just as much about lab bets in these videos now. But anyway, we had the 3-unit bet on Gregor Gillespie at 1.53, got in really early on him. The fight was cancelled, his odds got absolutely annihilated, and by the time they reschedule this fight against Brad Riddell, he's probably going to be a 1.36 favourite. So he got absolutely screwed there. It's very frustrating. It's not for the first time. What can you do? I'm not sure if Gillespie is going to be worth a bet at the new odds when they get released. We'll have to see what they are, and we'll make a judgment call on it. But obviously, that fight is cancelled. So, what I would say about this bet, though, if your bookie hasn't given you a return yet, if this bet is still pending, what some sites will say is that they won't void or cancel the bet in case it gets rescheduled. If I were you, there's a very good chance this fight will get rescheduled. So keep this bet open or pending if you can, because if the fight does get rescheduled, Gillespie's odds won't be anywhere near 1.53. He's going to be a much bigger favourite. We obviously got in quite early on that one. Personally, at the moment, so I've bet Gillespie on about 7 different betting sites. About half of them have returned my money. The other half have got the bet is still pending. So if I were you, keep it pending if you can. That would be my recommendation. But that was the only official bet. Obviously, the fight was cancelled. If we look at the loose betting style now, loose bets have been on a bit of a tear. Obviously, we've been doing really, really well on them. And last weekend was the first weekend where they were actually at a loss. Not a major loss. We had a bet on Griffin. He came through for us for a 1 unit profit, but we lost on Leonardo Santos and Kevin Holland. So an overall loss of about 2 units on loose bets. But it has been a good month for the loose bets. Like I say, we haven't updated this chart yet. With March's results, we'll do that obviously at the end of March, but I think the profit chart will jump up to about here when these results do get updated, despite the fact we did make a loss last weekend, but it was only a small loss, minus 2 units, and it's about time we had a losing week on these loose bets, because they've been on an absolute tear. They've been doing phenomenally well. So yeah, just a slight loss on those. Main event picks, we went for Kevin Holland to continue the losing streak on the main event picks. So this main event picks experiment, like I say, I'm going to keep it in the lab, maybe give it another 12 months. If it's still not profitable after another 12 months, then we'll scrap it. But I am optimistic we can turn it around. We'll have to see how it goes. The over-under experiment is proving to be one of our most profitable so far. The win rate on these over-under bets is absolutely unbelievable. You can see here, over the last 10 bets on over-unders, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 2 on these over-under bets, which is kind of crazy. We banked another profit last weekend. We went for the over 1.5 rounds in the Delidze versus Giles fight. Very, very generous odds to keep the winning streak going, and a very, very nice profitability chart forming here, dating back to this month we've made about how much profit is this going to be this month? It's going to be about 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 units of profit this month. So again, this profitability chart is going to be jumping up to about here when we update these results at the end of March, just provided we don't take any major losses this weekend, which I'm sure we won't. And then the even money bets are really starting to get my attention. With this, big period of variance here, where we have a nasty dip from August to December, I was starting to become worried about these even money bets, thinking that they may end up going the same way as the main event picks, and this would be an experiment that we may have to scrap. But we really turned it around. V-shaped recovery since December, and now we're building up a pretty good sample size on these even money bets as well. So we've got 156 bets in there as a sample size, and this month is going to be absolutely huge for us. So again, haven't updated this profitability chart yet. We will at the end of March, but at the moment, over the last year, up until February, we were on 11.65 units of profit, and we have just absolutely crushed on these even money bets this month. So if we go back to the first event of the month, there's a 2 unit profit there, 2, call it roughly 3 with all that, 4, 5, I'm doing this very roughly, 6.5 maybe, minus 7, call it 6.5, so about a 5.5 unit profit this month on these even money bets. But what's even more interesting is obviously the nature of this even money betting experiment is where, I believe that my knowledge of the sport, my ability to gamble effectively, and my ability to research fights will outweigh any mathematical edge that the bookies might have. And my ability just to pick winners based on my knowledge will trump any mathematical advantage the bookies have got, right? That is the theory behind this experiment. And what's absolutely insane this month is the win rate that we've been able to keep up. Since the beginning of the month, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 1 on these even money bets this month. And what's even crazier about going 11 and 1 is that the one bet that we lost was on Peter Yan, and he was absolutely dominating. You know, had it not been for that freak knee that landed, Yan would have won this fight easily. So for this month, we would have gone 12 and 0 on even money bets, which is kind of insane when you think about it, because, you know, with these even money bets, essentially we're trying to pick the winner in the flip of a coin. It's very, very hard to pick 12 consecutive, you know, wins on the flip of a coin. So, you know, we could pretty much count this Yan win, right, as a winner. Let's be real. It's a paper loss, just like Aljamain is the paper champ. But realistically, you know, we picked the correct winner in that fight. So to go 12 and 0 on these even money bets this month is kind of outrageous. And it probably is going to be a bigger profit than 5.5 units. If you went 12 and 1, that actually seems pretty low. And what is also pretty cool is we've got a nice mix of underdogs and favourites we're picking to win. And of course, last weekend we hit winners on Bruno Silva and Trevin Giles. Prop bets have also been on an absolute tear. We've had an absolutely huge month this month, making around, or that be around that. Oh, let me give a calculator out and figure out the exact number. So 43.38. Take away 17. Oh, you motherfucker. 43. Oh, fuck you. 43.38. Take away 17.88 equals, so 25 units of profit this month on props. An absolute tear after a little bit of a dip, but that is the nature of these prop bets. And of course, last week we put together a nice profit on these on these prop bets as well. Bruno Silva to win by knockout or TKO, that came through for us. We lost this one. We did hit Trevin Giles to win by decision. We lost this one. Lost this one, lost this, and lost this. And I think with these two, this winner here and this winner here gave us an overall profit of about 4 units on props. And we just keep on keeping on. So a lot of change is on the horizon at MMABettingTips.com. And let me know what you think about the changes, guys. Really, really would appreciate you letting me know what you think. I always try and do things with your best interest at heart. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this is a business. You do pay me for a service every month. So I want to give you the best possible value for money as is humanly possible. And that's why I'm always looking to improve things and always looking to do things better. I personally feel the restructuring of the content on the site will be better for you guys. But ultimately, I'm only going to do it if you guys in the community agree that that is the way you want things to change. If not, I can keep it the same way it is now. But whatever you decide, I'll be working on it over the next 2 weeks when Uncle Dana blesses us with a week off, which isn't really a week off because April is going to be absolutely insane. And we'll obviously get a jump start on those April cards next week. The fight research train will keep on going to ensure the money train keeps on going. And I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you that is a part of the community. Obviously, it's been a phenomenal success 2021 so far. I forgot that it's been so successful. I forgot to mention live betting. Last weekend we broke even. We went 1-1 for pretty much exactly break even. But anyway, this year's been a huge success. Live betting has been absolutely on fire. It's always been on fire. It's always going to be on fire. And we continue to just bang out nice, consistent, steady profits every week. Pre-fight bets with the help of the lab have also been on fire. And I've personally seen my lab account 4x since January, which is an insane return. And like I said, I don't see any reason why we can't see this going. You know, we put the same amount of fight research in every week. We interpret these fights in the same way. And we've got a really big sample size on these lab bets now, which, you know, it's I think is a good amount of data to put a good amount of trust in. You know, obviously, the longer the experiments run, the more reliable the data is going to become. But I think after 12 months, 200 bets, we can feel pretty confident that we're onto something here. It's very, very hard to fluke a set of results that look like that over 200 bets. especially when we put so much work in, and especially out of the 5 different kinds of bets. No, actually, no. Let's really illustrate the importance of this. I've got my little notes here, showing you guys what I want to talk about. But if we really think about it, right, we've got live bets, prop bets, official bets, main event, loose bets, over under, even money. Is that it? Even money, over under, loose. Let me just double check. I think that's it. Yeah, over under, even money. We kind of abandoned that. Main event, loose. Yeah, so on the site, we've currently got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different kinds of bets. And out of the 7 different kinds of bets, the only one that isn't profitable are these main event bets, which is kind of crazy, man. So if we just change that to tight, we can see that out of the 7 different kinds of bets, that's the only one that's not profitable. So the fact that we've got such a big sample size, sorry about the background noise, guys. So the fact that we've got, such a big sample size on these bets, we put so much work into the fight research, and the fact that, sorry, my dog has made me lose my train of thought. Who the fuck is outside? Seriously. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm going to start that again. I'm very sorry. The dog threw me off. What I'm basically trying to say is we've got a big sample size on the majority of these bets now, and a long history on some of them. My dog has thrown me off. Basically, we bet loads of shit. We bet loads of shit, and they're all profitable apart from this one. So why not go fucking ham, send our account balances to the moon, and buy fucking helicopters? I'm going to go strangle my dog. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Take care, and I will see you very soon. Nice one, boys.